Howdy, Immortalium here, and today I'm doing a review of Blood-C Last Ark. Now, for you guys who have been around for quite a while, you guys probably remember that I did a review of a TV series called Blood-C. And Blood-C Last Ark is the sequel to that series. So, just something I want to point out first of all, do not watch this movie before watching the TV series. The TV series ends on a big twist, and this movie gives the entire twist away, you know. So watch the TV series first, then watch the film, if you intend to watch the film. Anyway, let's get on into the review. So, let's start off with the story of the film. Now, because of what I just said, that is, you know, the TV series ended on a twist, and that this is a sequel to that series, it means that I can't really give as in-depth plot summary as I usually do. But that's, you know, I'll give a bit of one. Our lead character, Saya, she's out for revenge, and she comes across a group in a city who are opposed to the same person that she wants to kill. And, you know, she comes across a character in that group called Mana. And we find out about Mana's life, you know, we find out her story, and, you know, why she joined the group, etc., etc. And, you know, Saya eventually, you know, goes up against her opponent and all that. So, that's the kind of plot. And this series, this movie, sorry, is far more reminiscent of Blood, the Last Vampire, you know, the original film that started off this whole franchise. You know, there's a lot of big action scenes. Well, I guess I shouldn't say a lot. There's like 3 massive action sequences. One at the beginning, one in the middle, and one at the end. But there are these stretches of, you know, characters talking to each other, you know, discussing how plans are going to go down, etc., etc., as well as, you know, character development. And overall, the interesting thing about the story is that it feels far more restrained, I guess is the word, than the TV series. The TV series was really, you know, over the top. It was, you know, gory as hell. Speaking of the gore, there wasn't really that much gore. I mean, there's a bit of blood here and there in Blood-C Last Ark, but overall it does feel very tame in comparison to the actual TV series. So, I enjoyed the gore in the TV series a bit, but I didn't think it was necessarily crucial to the story, so usually I'm fine with, you know, that kind of being removed. But the movie feels a bit inconsistent with the style of the TV series, so, you know, that does annoy me when it goes from one style to another, so that did annoy me. There's also a couple of other things that I found a bit odd about the story. One of the weirdest scenes that I want to point out is that there is a bit in the film where they go to the location of where, you know, Halleck is set, you know, XXX Halleck from Clamp. For you guys who aren't aware, Clamp did the character designs and were involved with the story for Blood-C. But there's this very odd scene, which it does kind of explain a mystery that had, you know, been developed in the TV series, and we hadn't really found out what the purpose of that was. But even so, it felt kind of, you know, a bit out there, and it kind of made me wonder why it was in there. I'm thinking on it afterwards, I kind of ended up thinking that maybe it was promotion for, you know, Halleck, because, you know, Halleck stopped, it went on hiatus, I believe, back in about 2011. This film was released around 2012. There was the live-action TV series as well as the manga starting up again the next year. So it just felt like as if they were kind of promoting this other franchise, you know, oh, let's put in an advertisement for Halleck. And even though I've seen the whole anime that's been released over here, I know there's a couple of anime series that were never released over here, and I have not seen that of Halleck. It was a very confusing scene because, you know, I'd only seen the TV series, and, you know, the character, I guess I should say, yeah, was acting really different in comparison to how he was portrayed in the TV series. So I asked a friend of mine, and she explained, you know, what had happened at the end of Halleck, which did explain it all, but overall it just, I don't know, I found that scene kind of confusing and a bit unnecessary. I think it could have been better handled. So overall, the story itself, It feels a lot more Hollywood, I guess, the best way to describe it, in comparison to the TV series. You know, there's a first act, there's a middle act, and there was the third act, and it's all concluded, it's all wrapped up neatly. You know, it's kind of by the books, the story. The characters. We're introduced to a, you know, range of characters in this movie, but considering the length of the film as well as the number of characters, we don't really get that much character development from many of them. So the main characters that we deal with in this film are Saya, who is our lead, and this girl called Mana that I pointed out. And Mana, I don't know how to describe her. Like, I understand the purpose she fulfills in this film. She is there to be friends with Saya. She's there to make Saya talk much more than Saya would simply by herself. And, you know, it also gives us, you know, a new character to develop. But I feel overall that Mana was a bit of an unnecessary add-in. It doesn't really feel like she added too much to the film. She was just there to kind of tag along with Saya and to kind of, you know, get Saya to open up a bit more. So, you know, overall I thought Mana could have been much better handled. There were some other interesting characters, but they never really got that much development in this film. With the exception of one, but I won't spoil anything about him. His development is very much in the climax of the film, rather than the rest of the film. So I won't spoil that. But yeah, overall, character development, now, I've sounded very negative about this film so far. I really want to point this out. This film is gorgeous. This film was animated by Production IG, who animated the TV series, and, you know, the TV series itself was already a damn good-looking TV series, but the movie budget really, you know, puts it out of this world. You know, the characters are, you know, crystal clear. There's fantastic level of details. They're very fluid, etc., etc. Overall, it's a superbly animated film, with one exception, and it's the usual culprit, the CGI. Now, overall, Production IG actually handles CGI far better than most other anime studios. Just look at Ghost in the Shell for an example of that. And the CGI, for the most part, in Blood Sea Last Dark is very good. It does stand out a bit in some of the earlier scenes of the film, you know, in contrast to the kind of more traditionally animated rest of the film. So there are, you know, some bits like where the vehicles themselves are well done, but there's a couple of crowd scenes where the crowd is obviously CGI and they're a little bit bumpy. So, you know, I wasn't a big fan of that, but I didn't find that distracting. What kind of did distract me and what annoyed me was there is a, let's just call it a monster at the end of this film. And he is completely CGI. And he's actually kind of reminiscent of, you know, Final Fantasy CGI cutscenes. But my problem with him was that he wasn't really cel-shaded. He looked kind of realistic, which, you know, again, is in great contrast to the rest of the series and the movie. You know, they have a very animated, you know, kind of anime-esque look, you know, the big eyes, you know, elongated limbs. The series isn't meant to look realistic, so the fact that they didn't really cel-shade at all the final monster, that is annoying to me. And it's a problem that I also found in Hercules with the Hydra. He looked too kind of realistic in comparison to everything that was around him. That's just a niggle though. Overall, this film is a beautiful looking film, and, you know, if you're going to get this film, Blu-ray is definitely the way to go. It looks great. Now about the dub. I watched this in English dub, and I watched the TV series in English dub, and what I liked about the TV series was the fact that it was a great dub, but it was also kind of an unknown cast, with a couple of exceptions. The majority of the cast I hadn't heard of, so it was great, you know, hearing different voices. For this film, the cast returns, those that survived the first series, but the characters that are introduced are much more, they're much more kind of standard Funimation. You know, you have J. Michael Tatum here, you have Mike McFarland, oh, there was someone else famous enough, but overall it's a much more standard Colin Clinkenbeard, yeah. So, you know, Colin Clinkenbeard is in practically everything Funimation these days. So anyway, my point is, overall the dub is very good, and I would highly recommend you check out the dub. But I would have liked to have seen them, you know, kind of continue on the route that they had started with the TV series, which was, you know, kind of an unknown cast. You know, continue that on with a couple of stars, instead of kind of giving every other character in this, a major player from Funimation. That's kind of my review overall. Overall, what do I think of this? It's a decent enough film. I definitely prefer the TV series. It doesn't reach the lows of the beginning of the TV series. The first several episodes of the TV series are quite dull. But the last few episodes of the TV series are superb. They are very engaging, and the film fails to reach those highs. So, yeah, that is my problem with it. But overall, if you've seen the TV series, you may as well get this film if you can find it for a good price. It wraps up everything. It's a decent enough conclusion. Even if it isn't quite as satisfying as, the TV series ends up being, it's a decent enough film. I recommend it. Extras, I have the manga UK version, but I believe that the extras present on this are pretty similar to the American version and the Australian version. That is US actor and staff commentary, no name theatre, promotional videos, original trailer, original teaser and trailer. So, mainly teasers. The US actor and staff commentary I have not heard yet. I definitely do intend to watch it with the commentary, but I haven't gotten around to that yet. I'm pretty sure it's this kind of standard Funimation, them goofing around and, giving some tidbits on the, behind-the-scenes voice acting. But because of the fact that it is strictly Funimation dubbing it and all that, voicing the commentary, it means all they can discuss is simply what happened on their side. So there will be no kind of behind-the-scenes animating or, anything. So that will be disappointing, but, Funimation tried their best. And No Theatre, I haven't actually seen, but I know of it, and apparently what it is it's kind of a weird recap of the TV series. It takes a bit of a while, but apparently it is kind of amusing, not overly rewatchable, but it is worth a, kind of a single watch. So, decent extra. I can't recall if it's dubbed or not, the No Theatre, but, even if it is just subtitled, it's a good extra to get, It is kind of amazing these days when you get something other than a actor and staff commentary, US actor and staff commentary and trailers from a movie. So, I commend Funimation for getting it. So overall, yeah, I recommend this movie. Just expect that it won't be as good as the TV series ended up becoming. So it's much more kind of Hollywood, as I said, and by the books. But anyway, that's my review of Blood Sea Last Dark. Hopefully you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and bye-bye.